Hello and welcome to the Tanis Fiber Arts podcast. I am Tanis of Tanis Fiber Arts. I'm a knitwear designer and a yarn dyer. And today I am going to try on all of my summer patterns. And I'm nervous. It's a big job. I'm holding my little lapel mic because I'm far away from the camera. I don't know how this is going to go. Maybe I will attach it like to a garment and then I'll just talk into it. Let's hope that works. Because as I'm changing, I'm not going to be able to. Anyway, I had to start it off by wearing this is called the Sunshine Coast sweater, maybe Sunshine Coast by Heidi Kiermaier. She's one of my favorite knitwear designers. Oh, I didn't realize I left my how awful. I left my closet door open. So, one of my favorite knitwear designers, and this is the very first summer tee that I knit. I'm saying that now with a bit of skepticism because I don't know if that's actually true. I was so confident. And then I thought maybe a better way of phrasing it, whether it's true or not, that it was my first, is that it was my first really successful summer knit that made me fall in love with summer knits. Because for years, like 15 years of my knitting career, I thought I didn't like summer knits and that I only knit winter garments. I live in Montreal where it's winter or sweater weather a large portion of the year. So that was suiting me just fine. And then I knit myself this. This is 100% linen yarn. This yarn is the Petit Lin from Espace Tricot and just in a natural white colorway. And I actually always intended to knit this pattern with long sleeves. The pattern has sleeves. But this is one of the only times that I actually followed through and did the thing where you knit the sweater, your sleeve stitches are on hold, you try it on, and you say to yourself, this is cute without sleeves. And then you go, no, I want a sweater. I'm going to put the sleeves on. But a sweater without sleeves is a t-shirt, my friends. And in this linen yarn, I put the sweater on without the sleeves. And I said, this is really cute without sleeves. And then I did not knit the sleeves. I just picked up stitches and then cast off stitches to make it a t-shirt. And I've worn this a ton. It made me fall in love with summer knits and I really, really love it. And so a lot of people say, are summer knits worth it? Do you even wear your summer knits? Because there's such a different category of knit than a winter knit. And I have some tips. Yes, some tips as to how to make decisions about what knits to make for summer in order to maximize their wear. And I'm going to go through all of my summer knit patterns and yeah, just talk you through those. I did this with cardigans some time ago, all of my cardigan patterns, and you guys really seem to enjoy that. To me, this feels like a big job, and it also feels like I'm worried about having something original to say about each one because I'm even going to try on the ones. Sometimes I knit the same pattern, but in two different fibers, and it makes a difference, and I think it's relevant. I'm wearing a little cami under here so that I can do this. Let's do it. So I'm going to start my very first summer knitting pattern. This is no longer in order. The Rocket Tee. So I designed the Rocket Tee in 2020. It was my very first. So normally I wear all of these summer knits just with like a nude bra underneath. I don't always wear them over a gray cami, but for the purposes of today's video, I didn't want, nudity all over my YouTube channel. So this is my Rocket Tee. And the thing that I love, I love this sweater until the day I die, this t-shirt. It is knit holding a single strand of fingering striped with a single strand of mohair. It's knit at a fingering weight gauge. It has quite a bit of positive ease so that it's not tight and it's not restricting. A beautiful V-neck. All the edgings are finished in I-cord. A raglan construction with what? With eyelet details at the shoulders. And yeah, it remains definitely one of my favorites. I love this color. This color is our rocket colorway and the whole thing. You know what? I'm distracted by this. I'm sorry, guys. I really hope that moving the mic around doesn't make a lot of noise, but I want to be able to move. I want to be able to come and show you the eyelet details. So this is the thing that I feel about making summer knits and making them that in a way that you're actually going to wear them is this. I don't think of a summer knit as a replacement for a store-bought cotton tanker tee or a something that you sewed, but like in a knit stretch fabric, because those garments that you're wearing when you're gardening or when it's really, really hot or when you're going to the beach or things that are going to get sweat in, things that are going to maybe get dirty, things that need to be washed a lot, that type of wear, that is not when I'm wearing my summer knits. I'm wearing my summer knits when I go to dinner. Or yeah, if I imagine if I worked an office job that had air conditioning, and that summer knits kind of make an outfit. I tend to wear so I tend to choose patterns that are kind of more of a feature. I even though the one that I started out the video in is essentially a white linen t-shirt, um, it's elegant, the drape. I wear it with jeans and it feels much more elevated than just wearing a store-bought cotton t-shirt. And so that's how I think of my summer knits. It is because I think of my winter knits that a wool sweatshirt style sweater will replace a hoodie, will replace a store-bought cotton sweatshirt, because both of those items are worn over, an undershirt, a long sleeve tee, or whatever you're wearing underneath it. Summer knits I don't think of in the same way. They would replace a blouse, okay? Maybe like something a bit more fancy. And so when I wear this, I wear it with just jeans, shorts, whatever I'm doing in the summer, and it makes the outfit. It is the outfit. So I'm gonna now, I hope this isn't too terrible. Put this back here. And now I'm gonna try on my rocket tee that I knit in our willow yarn, because not everybody wants to always be wearing mohair in the summer. I understand that. So our willow yarn is a 65% silk, 35% linen blend yarn. In fingering weight, I knit a sample of the rocket tee and using one color of willow. And here we are. Here she is. So it still has the beautiful eyelet details. It's drapier. I always tuck it. It's really, I have a mirror in front of me here so I can sort of, that's what I'm looking at. But my tripod's right in front of it so I can't actually really see myself. Yeah, this one, it's silky because 65% silk. This adds even more. It's interesting. I think I wish I had knit this one size smaller. And if you watched last week's video, I talked about that a bit. How normally when I'm knitting a garment in merino versus when I'm knitting a garment in cellulose fiber or something with more drape, something that's heavier, cotton, silk, they're heavier than wool. They drape slash, if you want to look at it negatively, they have the potential to sag more. And so I'll knit the cellulose fiber version one size smaller than my chosen merino size. And so I like to have positive ease. So I still would have chosen a size with a little bit of positive ease, but over the years, over the time that this has grown in the 5 years since I've made it, and it doesn't really shrink. There's not much you can do to shrink it back. You can try reblocking it, but reblocking doesn't shrink the thing. It's like the stitches just stretch out, and it's not elastic like wool. Wool, you can stretch it and it boings back. This, once it stretches, it kind of stays stretched. And so considering that when you're picking your size for your cellulose fiber knits is something that's really important. But this, I feel really cool in the striped rocket tee. There's something about this one that feels a titch cooler, maybe even hipper. I don't know what it is, but I'm definitely the linen, the willow yarn adds something. It adds elegance, yeah, class, style, grace. I don't know. Adds it all. So I have another sample. I'm not going to put it on. I'm going to tell you about it while I put this one on. Another willow tee here. This is my next pattern, but I'm going to tell you about this one. I just don't want to be naked in my little tank, my little cami for the whole video. This is another version of the rocket tee that I've made. And this one's kind of very exciting to me because instead of merino fingering weight, sock yarn and mohair, I held together fingering weight hand spun yarn, my own hand spun, which is always like incredibly exciting when you get to use your hand spun in a project, with a single strand of a cashmere lace. So it doesn't have the mohair halo, but it is a different gauge. It does make for like a lighter, airier fabric on those lighter stripes. And so this was a very fun, this is, yeah, kind of a pride and joy because I love to spin, but I don't use my hand spun in finished projects that often. And so having an opportunity to do that is very thrilling. And these types of summer knits that are sleeveless require so much less yardage than sleeves really eat up a lot of yardage. That's my point. So moving on from the rocket tee, my next summer pattern is the floodlight tee. So the floodlight tee is, I was wearing this 2 weeks ago in a video. There's a little keyhole opening in the back. It's a round yoke. And in this sample, I have striped mohair again with willow with the silk linen yarn. And just around the yoke, it is striped. I go into a lot more detail about it in last week's video because I had just knit a sample or a new sweater in the Floodlight Mini. This is also available in kid sizes for my daughter. I always tuck my tees just because on me, I'm petite. I have short legs. I need my waist. I need my legs raised. Lengthened is what I was trying to say. Um, yeah, and this has a really simple increase pattern in the yoke to make this round yoke. And as I was knitting it for my daughter recently, I was just sort of reminded of how much I love this really simple round yoke construction. It means that there's less shaping or no shaping. The neck is a circle, you know what I mean? Like it dips down in the back the same way as it dips down in the front because there's no short rows or anything in the way that I've designed this pattern. I've kept it as simple as possible. It's a really meditative knit, and it's one that I get compliments on every time I wear. So it's high impact. This one, I like this one a lot, and I'm going to show you. So this is it in our drapey. I keep doing this to really highlight the drape of it all. But then I also knit it in wool. So the wool version I knit using a ton of beautiful colors. And it's something that you will see, it's a theme. It's something that I love to do. So this one, slightly different feel. It's a bit boxier because I knitted a bit more cropped. So I don't need to front tuck this one, which is something that I could. I still could, but I don't need to because it hits just right about at my high on my waist. Yeah, and this one I just did really high impact. You can tell they've been folded. I should have steamed them all before I tried them all on, but this one was just a really, really fun exercise in playing with colors. What had happened happened. What I did is at the same time, my original vision for the Floodlight Tee pattern was this, my original sample. That's what I wanted to do. And much like the Rocket Tee, how I first knitted in merino and mohair and then immediately cast on for one in a single color of linen, before I'm even done knitting my first sample of a pattern, I'm already thinking about what else you could do with it. And so as I was knitting my solid color Floodlight Tee, I'm going, imagine this with stripes, because I happen to love stripes. And at that time, we had these really fun sets in the shop, these striped tee kits that we were making. And this was one of them. And the sort of the thinking behind the striped tee kits, which are no longer available, they might be available again. Never say never. If you guys are really interested, please let me know. But the thinking behind them was I was I couldn't buy this yardage pre-made in a mini skein. I had to wind them all by hand. Basically a third of a skein of yarn. Half a skein of yarn is too much for a 10 color tee. Okay. You just get much more yardage than you need, and then it becomes less helpful as a kit. 25-gram skeins minis, which is what we generally carry, is not enough for every size to be able to knit themselves a t-shirt like this. But 1/3 of a skein is perfect for every size can knit themselves a 10 color tee. And I definitely wanted these kits to be size inclusive. So I was making them, by rewinding full skeins into 3 individual skeins. I say by hand, but of course I have an electric skein winder, but still it was me operating it, blah, blah, blah. very time consuming, but it's a really cool thing that we were making for a while because all these tees can be made in this format, 10 color stripes. And so I did that for this one and then started making tee kits. In fact, I don't know if it was the floodlight tee or if it was next, my flip side tee, which I'm going to show you now, which was the jumping off point for the t-shirt sets. Like I can't recall. I have to move my mic. There we go. So now I'm going to try on my flip side tee. So the flip side tee came to be for two reasons. One, another sort of just perfect example of how to use the striped tee kits to make a sweater or to make a tee. This color palette, like I could not be more in love with the color palette than I am with this one. I absolutely love it. And this one is sort of like, I'm going to have to take this and come a bit closer. I really hope this is working and not too distracting for you guys. Trying not to like wrestle with it. But this has an eyelet. It's not the same eyelet design as my rocket tee, but it does have an eyelet design that carries down the side in a similar vibe, a similar way, but it's not the same one. And it's a crew neck, obviously. It's a crew neck and it has ribbing around the sleeve and ribbing around the bottom. So to me, it's sportier than the rocket tee, and particularly in the way that I've chosen to stripe it. And basically, let me a little insider information. If you publish a V-neck pattern, immediately you will get requests for that pattern. They will say, love the pattern, don't like V-necks, wish it was a crew neck. Of course, same goes the other way. Love the pattern, love this crew neck you've designed, wish it was a V-neck. People have preferences, right? And so when I launched the rocket tee, there were several requests for it to be a crew neck. So it is not the same. It is not the rocket tee as a crew neck. It is its own thing, different details, but same vibe as a crew neck. So now you've got your crew neck option if that's the sort of thing you want. Now I haven't knit this in a sample with the mohair striped. I mean, I should, because you absolutely could. There's no reason why you couldn't knit this striping motif in this pattern, or vice versa, knit a rocket tee that is just striped through like this and all merino. There's so many options for all of these garments, obviously, and maybe I need to do that for the rocket tee now that knit this one. I mean, all of it, all of those things I hadn't even considered. So I'm not going to try this one on because I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm getting a little tired. This is the same pattern. This is the pattern that I'm wearing right now, the flip side tee. But for this one, I knit it in our willow yarn, our silk linen summery yarn. You can see the eyelet details really well down the side there and on the front. But then instead of doing the sporty ribbing around the arms, the neck, and the hem, I did I-cord edgings. The I-cord edging is it's a feature that I love. I did that on my floodlight tee and I did that on my rocket tee. And I guess for variety, I wanted something different for my flip side tee. So this has ribbon. But then I knit a sample in linen with the alternate edging option. And it's a whole other vibe. I guess I need to try it on. Sorry, guys. Got to do it. Okay. Let me put my little mic. Hope that's working as planned. Because this one, it really does change the vibe completely. I think I knit this in the same size. I previously mentioned how I often go down a size. With the crew neck, I don't have to worry about it hanging down the front as much. This one is longer, so I do front tuck it. And then the I-cord edgings. Yeah, this one, it makes it a lot kind of more, it's still just a casual tee, but kind of more elegant. I wore this with a skirt by recently, I mean the fall, 8 months ago. And it was really, really cute. I really liked it. Dressed up a little bit, you put on like gold earrings and a bracelet and it really dresses up easily. So this is the flip side tee, knit in linen. And now I'm wondering why I never knit a flip side tee. in mohair and merino. I guess I was just all sampled out. I mean, at a certain amount of time, there's only so many versions of the same t-shirt that I need. So now we're moving in to a different kind of category. So far, we've really been focused on stockinette stitch in my tee design career. And this is a pattern that I published just last year. I don't know if I'm going in chronological order here, but this is my Skylight Tee. And this one I love. This I knit cropped, and I have to bring my little mic. I knit it cropped, and it has a beautiful cable lace panel down the center. And so this is what I mean. And it has I-cord. It has I-cord details, of course, to be less sporty. I wanted this one to be more kind of elegant. And this is exactly what I mean when I say that I think of them as outfit makers. It's not just a replacement for a white t-shirt. This is, if I was wearing jeans and a white t-shirt, cute outfit. But wearing jeans and this beautiful knit top is like instantly elevated and just really, really pretty. It makes the outfit. You know, I love the neckline is a bit more open. I'm a big fan of this particular cable lace detail. I called it the Skylight Tee. I have a Skylight sweater as well, which is totally different in terms of proportions and scale. It's a really large, oversized worsted or Aran, no, chunky knit sweater. And it has the same large cable down the front. And yeah, this I knit in our crystal colorway that has so many beautiful, fun speckles. It's what we call, all of our speckles. We try to make them as wearable as possible, right? Not too crazy. So crystal is a perfect example of that, where it's like from far, it just reads as a white top, but up close, there's so much going on. And when you're knitting it, it's so fun. So this is a top that is so easy to just throw on with anything. You don't have to tuck it because I made it cropped. Of course, you don't have to make it cropped. You can make it however you like. And it's just as easy as wearing a t-shirt, but just really elevated, in my opinion. We're getting near the end, guys. So next up is my K-side tee. This one's a little bit heavier weight. So we've got a couple tops here that are in DK weight, but it's the DK weight linen. And this is a type of, trying not to rub it against my face. Oh yeah, I forgot. I love the weight of the linen DK, the DK weight willow. I call it linen, but it's 65% silk. It has a lot of sheen, has a lot of drape. And this is the type of shape. I've got another pattern I'm about to show next. That is this type of shape where there are short rows. There is shaping in the shoulder area, but it's more or less a square with a little ribbing for a sleeve. And I love that drape. I love the way that it fits. I love the way that it just shows the fabric. This one has a split hem with a really pretty cable pattern up the side with eyelets. This one I love. I love this pattern. It has an I-cord edging. I feel like a one-trick pony. No, I love to finish garments like that. An I-cord edging around the neck, but then ribbing around the sleeves, split hem around the bottom. And this is a really, really great sort of spring fall. I probably don't wear this one in the height of summer, but I love to wear this now. The next one I'm going to try on will be a quickie because you guys are very familiar with this one because I just launched it. This next number, ladies and gentlemen, is my Getty Tee. So the Getty Tee, I had to include it because it's a tee and it has short sleeves and you could absolutely make it in a cotton yarn, something more summery. But I knit my sample in DK weight wool. So I will not be wearing this in high summer. Okay. Yeah, I will even I will be layering this over long sleeve tees even in the winter. So this is really like all seasons except for summer. Yet I've chosen to include it in my summer knits roundup. I guess because it's new, because it has short sleeves. It feels like it fits the bill. If you knit it in a different yarn, as I'm sort of saying you can do, then it would absolutely be summer approved. So this one is a V-neck. I have a whole video dedicated to this top from a few weeks back, the Getty Tee, which features granny squares, crocheted saddle shoulders. So super fun. A little pop of color. Yeah, this is an exciting one. I love the V neck. I love both. I love both a crew neck and a V neck. I'm not really um in the winter time I tend to wear crew necks a lot more because I get cold. But as soon as it warms up, a V neck with a necklace is just so pretty, and I love they're very very crisp. A nice V neck where you can see the increases or the decreases depending on how it's created. You know, the shaping down the side. It's a look that I absolutely love. So this one, split hem again. Who doesn't love a split hem? This is my not really summery summer knit for you. And then I have just one last tee. Yeah, I guess I'll try this on. This isn't a tee, it's a tank. And I thought, well, if I'm talking about summer, we've got to have some tanks, but I don't have many tank patterns. In fact, this will be my first. And it's not even published yet. It's currently being test knit. So this one, I love to wear it tucked all the way around actually, but that's because I like the sort of, kind of, what is that? It balloons over the hem. I find it really, really pretty. So this is my Ostara tank pattern, which is currently being test knit and which will be published soon. And it felt important to include it in this roundup because I will not be doing another full roundup in a month when this pattern is published. So you get it included today as a little sneak peek for what's about to come. So it's my first actual tank design, which is why I'm having it test knit, because I'm not familiar with designing tanks. There you go. I want to make sure that it fits perfectly across all sizes. It's not a boxy fit, which is really easier to grade and get consistent. The fit on this is kind of critical. I'm wearing it with like zero ease, so it fits exactly around my chest, and then because my waist happens to be a bit smaller than my chest, I get a bit more volume down here, but it's all fitted all throughout the top. And so those are the types of things that I'm really looking forward to seeing on the testers, that it works if you don't have the same proportions as me, of course, right? I need to make sure. At any rate, I'm quite excited about this tank. It's knit in Willow DK, so it's very summer appropriate. It has wide straps, so you can wear whatever you want underneath it. There's nothing concerning about that. And then yeah, I have the other sort of critical detail for me thinking about a tank. Does it cover a bra strap, so you're actually going to wear it? And does it fit comfortably in the armpit? I need it to not be too low that it's showing my bra on the side, and I need it to not be so high that it's sticking into my armpit. It needs to be just right. And so these are the things that are currently all being ironed out. I'm really, really happy with the neckline on this. The way that the increases are worked in the stitch pattern. Very, very fun. I'm going to have a lot to say about this when the pattern is available. Last two, these are further away, so I'm not going to go on too much about them. But I've shown you this before already. I'm still working on my perfect tank pattern, my perfect sort of stockinette tank. I have a cotton tank from Costco that I absolutely love, and I was trying to reproduce it with the same shape. And these are two samples, and this one is closer than this one. This one, I think I'm going to add a little bit of length to it and rework the neckline for a second time. It'll be my third time making it, but I've already reworked it once. So these are a bit further off in terms of being ready for publication, so I don't feel that I need to go too far into them, because who knows, by the time I'm ready to talk about them, we may be due for an updated favorite summer knits video, because it could be next year. But who knew I had so many summer knits? I mean, I did not. Oh my goodness, I skipped one. What was I thinking? The one that I just released. I guess it's because I put it at the front and then I skipped it and then I went to the back. Okay, last one, and then we're going to call it a day, guys. We have my pop rock pullover. So if you saw last week's video, I went on and on about the pop rock pullover last week. I'm going to take this so I can move around. Okay, So last week I published this pattern. I go on, watch last week's video if you want to know how this is not the same. They're not the same pattern. And this pattern is also, it includes a sleeve. I'm going to show you. This is the long sleeve version, all fingering weight. Watch last week's video or go to the Ravelry or my website to see all the pictures and all the details about that. But my pop rock pullover, oh, I love it so much. I love the shoulder for me. So for years and years and years, raglan have been everywhere. And I mean, I don't want to say guilty because there's nothing wrong with it, but actually, no, I guess my rocket tee is a raglan, floodlight is a round yoke, flip side is a raglan, skylight tee is a raglan, but then my Getty tee and my K-side tee are not raglans. So anyways, I was going to say I'm super guilty of doing exclusively raglans for years. I would say I have done the majority of my patterns have been top-down raglans. It's a fun way to design. It's like a sporty, stripy look because you get these really crisp lines, right? And so there's a lot of opportunity to add like detail at the raglans or details in between the raglans. It's a fun design template. But then I have to say, I saw recently on Instagram, just an Instagram reel, that was just kind of a funny little thing where a knitter said, guys, like, dear designers, raglans have had their moment. Like, can we let another construction shine for a minute? Like, can we move on? Okay, like we know about the raglan. And it was funny, but then it kind of got me thinking. I was like, oh my God, you're right. Raglans have like dominated. Of course, there's always been drop shoulders, saddle shoulders, hybrid constructions. There's been always lots of other options, and the designers are using those other construction methods. I feel like I need to give this disclaimer, but it just made me realize, like, yeah, I want to try something different. I want to push myself to do non-raglan designs. And so I did. So for me, it started with my Austera cardigan, which features the same construction of picking up stitches along the back and then knitting down the fronts. And then your front is square like this. And I'm just obsessed with the lines that it creates. Really, really graphic, really, really beautiful. And so I'm happy to I have a handful of designs on the needles right now, and none of them are raglan. I love a raglan, but I'm excited to branch out. And so this is my pop rock pullover. Has a long sleeve option. Could absolutely be knit in willow or cellulose fabrics. I'm like really losing steam. These take a lot out of you to try them on. Try on each one. I hope that you guys enjoy it. And I hope that you make and knit summer tees. And I hope that what I have mentioned about them not being a replacement for like your old gym t-shirt, like that is not what it is. It is a blouse. It is a garment that you would wear like you would wear a silk blouse, because that is sort of the care that it's going to require. It's for nights out. It's for air-conditioned spaces. It is for when you want to elevate your outfit, and when you're wearing jeans and a t-shirt, you're wearing jeans and a fantastic handmade t-shirt, and it's an outfit maker. It is not a basic that you could buy at Costco. It's like the only place I shop. It's style, it is grace, it is everything. And I wear my summer knits just as much as I wear my winter knits. And since I actually have fewer summer knits than winter knits, these all get more wear than my winter knits get. And actually the period, because you can layer them under a cardigan. I don't really wear them in the winter when it's really cold. But spring and fall, absolutely, to wear like my Skylight Tee under like a long sleeve chambray shirt. I will absolutely be doing that. So if you're not sure if summer knits fit into your wardrobe, I'm here to tell you, give it a shot. What have you got to lose? So thank you very much for watching. I hope that this was entertaining and maybe a little bit educational, and maybe you discovered some designs that you didn't know about. And I will see you next time.